Hello stamping friends, this is Sharon Armstrong, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You can find me at www.sharonarmstrong.stampinup.net. Today I want to share with you a video on how to make 6 cards using 2 stamp sets, some washi tape, and some cardstock. I have some tips to share with you as I go through the process, so let's get started. This is the first card. I have stamped and punched out 2 flowers. I have a thank you sentiment, and then I have some washi tape. I have layered it on a single layer and then layered it on my base. The stamp sets that I'm using is Flower Shop, and it has a coordinating punch, and you can get that as a bundle from my website, from Stampin' Up! The other stamp set that I'm going to use for the video is Lots of Thanks. I'm going to make 6 thank you cards. You could use any sentiment that you want for these cards. There's plenty of room to change up the sentiment if you needed it for a quick birthday card or a thinking of you card. I want to go back to the Flower Shop stamp set because I learned a few things as I was creating the cards, and I wanted to share a tip with you. First of all, when you mount the stamps, if you use the wood blocks, when you mount the stamps, if you will mount them a certain way, it will be easier to line up the punch. So what I have done is I punched out on a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I marked the bottom with a B for bottom of the punch. And then I had already mounted my stamps, and I realized that there was a slight difference on how the stamps lined up with the punch. So I took my stamps, I layered my little punch out thing, little template over the stamp, and I had to take them all to the microwave and remount them. And you'll see what I mean. They're off just a little bit. So if I line this up, it actually goes this way. If I line this up, it's just not quite lining up right. So I just kept turning it, and then when I was happy with how it looked like it was going to line up with the punch, there we go. So see, technically my bottom is crooked so my stamp is crooked on the block because of how the B is marked. So I took it to the microwave, put it on for 20 seconds, no more, or you're going to burn up your rubber, and then you're able to just peel that off. And then I took my stamps, lined them up in my little punch template, and then I was able to lay them back on the wood block. Then I marked a B with a Sharpie, and so now I know every time I use this wood mount stamp set, it's going to line up with my punch, and I won't have as many issues with trying to line it up after I punch. So I hope that tip helps you. I actually went ahead and punched out all my flowers for the project, and I think that would be a good idea for you too. Go ahead and punch out your flowers, attach dimensionals on the back, and then you're ready to just start assembling. So you can really make 6 cards pretty quick. Let's go. So my first one is I have a Whisper White card base, and I have a sheet of Whisper White cardstock that is 5 1/4 by 4. And I want to take some washi tape, and this is the gingham washi tape from Stampin' Up's current catalog. It is the Gingham Garden. You get a pack of 3, and there's a bunch of washi tape on there, okay? So the first one I want to do is I'm just going to peel off a little piece, and I'm just going to tear it, and I'm going to lay it down on my layer. I'm going to take the next one, which I'm going to use the yellow. And the first time I used washi tape, I thought I had to be all perfect and use scissors. Don't stress yourself out by doing that. That was way too much. I put way too much effort into it. All right, so I'm going to lay this one right here. Then I'm going to take the pink and pull that off and just get a strip of that. Okay, so what I have now is some rough edges. Just tuck those back. Nice and clean. Take your thank you stamp, and you can use any of the colors. The 3 stamp pads that I'm using for these cards are Melon Mambo, Basic Gray, and Island Indigo. Okay, so I used a lot of the Basic Gray for my words, and then that way it was kind of a no-brainer. I didn't have to stop and think. So I'm going to ink up "Thank you for caring." And I like to put my stamps like that when I'm done stamping. That way when I go to reach for them again, I don't have to worry about them inking up my surface, or I don't get inky fingers, or some of them are a little skinny and they might wobble on your stamp pad, and then that way it will help prevent some of the ink from getting on your wood blocks. Same thing with if you're using clear mount. All right, so I have already stamped and punched out my 2 flowers. I'm going to pull off the backing, lay one right there. And for those of you who may not have seen any of my videos before, if you will dig your fingernail into the paper backing, it will just release it for you, and you don't have to sit there and pick. Especially helpful when you're making videos. All right, so there's my layer. I'm going to use a little bit of snail. And then I'm going to layer it on my card base like that. First card done. Second card. I have my Whisper White base. I have a piece of Island Indigo, and I have a piece of Whisper White. The Island Indigo is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2, and then my Whisper White is 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. Same thing with some washi tape. Going to take the yellow, move this out of the way. I'm going to take the yellow, and I want to make sure it goes all the way across. So I'm just going to lay that right there. Then I'm going to take another strip, do the same thing, just kind of eyeball measuring, and butt it right up against that. This washi tape can really make some fun background paper for you, or a background design I mean, so that you don't have to do a whole lot of paper cutting for designer series papers. Okay, then I want a piece that is about like this. And washi tape is really meant to be jagged and all of that. So like I said, don't stress yourself out with trying to line it up all perfect and cut and all of that. Lay this piece right here. And I want to stamp my sentiment. I'm just going to stamp a small thanks. Stamp straight down, lift straight up. And if you notice, I got a little boo-boo. I call those trash on my card. So since I'm using so much washi tape, I can fix that with a little bit of washi tape. The washi tape is designed to let you, or it's the concept is to let you use it wherever you want. And so there, I hid my boo-boo. I am the queen of fixing boo-boos, I promise. All right, so I want to take some snail, mount this piece onto my Island Indigo. Tuck that under. Give it a good press. And then I'm going to put some more snail. I used to like to do a lot of dimensionals, but sometimes the post office wants more postage for that. So I'm learning to be cuter with more layers and not, with just more colors of layers and not so much dimensional, so I don't have to pay more postage. All right, so I have my 2 flowers already punched out. I'm going to put one right here, and then I'm going to take the other one, digging my fingernail in, and I'm going to put the other one, about right there. Card number 2, pretty cute. Card number 3, I am using Whisper White base again. I'm using some basic gray cardstock that is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And then I have my Whisper White that's 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. And for this one, I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm going to use some more washi tape. Love this stuff. By the way, we have different designs, so it's not just this gingham. But you know, spring is coming, so let's go ahead and help spring along as best we can to get some of this color going on. That gingham reminds me of a tablecloth, if you would, for a spring picnic. All right, so I'm going to lay this one right here. Pick this up, wrap it around. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, put my snail on. You don't have to cover your back with the snail, but we want to make sure our card doesn't fall apart. So make sure you're fairly generous with your snail. Go ahead and lay that on. More snail on my basic gray layer. A little bit there. Okay, then I'm going to lay that right there. I cut out a little leaf using a Sizzlet from Stampin' Up, and I wanted to go ahead and put a little bit of snail right here to hold my leaf, like that. I'm going to get my embellishment, or my stamp, and this one is going to say, "Thank you so much." Stamp straight down, lift straight up. Then I'm going to add my flowers. See how fast these cards come together when you have already stamped and punched them out? Lay that one there, and then one more right here. Now, I'm done. How fast is that one? Okay, next card. The next card I am using some Daffodil Delight, and I have cut this 4 3/4 by 3 1/2, and then I have my Whisper White layer, and it is 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. Okay, so this time I'm going to take the washi tape, and we're going to do it at an angle. Let's jazz it up a little bit. Going to lay that one that way. Then I will take and kind of eyeball that. Lay this one right up against it. Okay, and then we have our pink. Do the same thing, kind of eyeball. I'm good on the length. And butt that one up against it. Lift up our card, do some wrapping. Okay, there you go. Now I want my sentiment, and I am going to choose "Thank you, kind doer of good deeds." Kind of cute. All right, and I'm going to stamp that right about there. Set that aside. Put on my snail. Are you seeing a pattern here? Quick and easy. Put the washi tape on, stamp a little bit, do some snail, layer it on. These are really quick cards. I'm kind of curious as to how long my video is going to take with such fast cards. So we'll see how I do in making 6 cards. All right, so there's that. And then for this one, I have stamped and punched out 3 of the Melon Mambo colored flowers. Just going to layer these on, kind of like that. And then put this one, oh, about right there. Look how cute that is. All right, next card. For this one, I'm using a basic gray base, and I have cut a piece of Whisper White that's 4 1/4 by 2 inches. And then I have a piece of Melon Mambo that is 4 1/4 by 2 1/4. All right, so I want to take my stamp, and I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to do what's called like a tone on tone kind of stamping. I'm just using the basic gray, and I'm just going to stamp a little bit all over my card, like that. Okay, I will take my Melon Mambo and layer this on here. Okay, then I have my Whisper White, and I want to do some stamping with that, and I'm actually going to use a different stamp than what I had planned because I did not bring my cleaning pad over for that last flower. So let's just take this one and ink it up, and we're just going to stamp some fun flowers on there, like that. Stamping off the cardstock gives it a different dimension, so have fun with that. All right, so we need a sentiment right here, and I'm just going to pick out just a simple, no, we'll use that one for the next card. We're just going to use, nope, that's too big. We're going to go back and use one of the other ones. So thank you for caring. All right, taking our, I thought it would be fun to add some baker's twine, so I'm using the Island Indigo baker's twine, and I want to just wrap this around a bit. And I like to leave my baker's twine or my ribbon on my bolt and then cut it like that. It's less waste that way. So I'm going to turn this over like this. Put a little bit of snail. That will kind of hold that, whoops, hold that into place. Okay. Take this end, put some snail, and tuck that down. Okay, so we have our, whoops, little boo-boo there. All right, so we have that going on, just for a little pop of color. A little bit of baker's twine. All right, so now I'm going to add more snail to the rest of my card. And layer it right against there. Okay, then I have one flower punched out with the melon mumbo. Pop off the back. And we're going to just pop that right on there. Another fast card. Here is number 6. Number 6 is really cute. I'm going to take and put, I have my piece of Whisper White, and it is 2.5 by 2.5. And then I have a basic gray layer, and it is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Taking my washi tape, just going to use the yellow, butt it up against, and I'm basically just really making like a little piece of designer series paper, a little printed paper, just really fun springy colors. And tie that off, and then one more bit here, right here at the bottom. We're going to do it like that. Okay. Whoops. Try that again. All right. Wrapping. Wrapping, wrapping. Going to do our sides first. And the washi tape is really forgiving, so if you make a mistake, you can lift it off and fix it. All right, so for this one, I'm just going to tuck it this way, and then I'm going to just tear it off. Tucking it back. Since it's so close to the edge, I am going to get some snips and just trim that off just right there. All right, so now we have a piece of designer series paper washi tape style. All right, going to take and put some snail on the back, layering that on my basic gray, taking the basic gray, layering it on my smoky slate base. I don't know if I said that a while ago. I have my flowers. Oh, actually I forgot something. I wanted a little pop of color right about here. Okay, so since I forgot that, let me see if I can lift that up a bit. Oh, there you go. Little pop of color there, and then another little bit of color with this one. There. Again, with lifting it up, tucking it under. Okay. So now I have a little bit more color on there. Taking my flowers, popping them off, and we have the Island Indigo one. Pop that up there. And then I have a little piece of scrap paper. This is what I was using to show you my template idea. I want to take my thank you And we're actually going to use scissors to just cut this off. Whoops. Like this. And we're going to keep it just really simple, taking some dimensionals, popping them on the back. And putting this on our card. Tucking that under there. And just like that. Ta-da, we're done. I hope you enjoyed these 6 cards, and I hope you enjoyed the tips, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.